we're going to do a video on steps for writing a quadratic in standard form. And standard form, I'm going to just say, is when it looks something like this. A x minus h squared plus k equals 0. And the reason why this is useful is because, as you may have remembered, our a here is going to either, if a is greater than 1, it will stretch the function. And if a is between 0 and 1, then it compresses the function. H is going to tell us how far to move left or right on the x-axis. K will tell us how far to move the vertex up or down. And it's not just the vertex, it's the entire function, but I'm going to explain that in a minute. I'm with my lovely assistant, Phoebe. Say hi, Phoebe.
Hi.
And so I'm going to try to do the best to teach this while being bombarded by her. Good, you clean your ears. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide every term by a. And so in this case, my a is 2. So I'm going to divide every term by a. And when I do that, I get x squared plus 3x minus 9 halves equals 0. I'm then going to isolate my constant. Now I'm going to try to change colors just to kind of help illustrate what I'm doing. And so right now I'm at x squared plus 3x equals 9 halves. Now, it says complete the square, so this is my third step. I'll do it in this pink. Third step says identify b. Well, right now my b equals 3. Now I want to be perfectly clear. Originally my b was 6 right here, but we're not using that one. We're now using what happened after I divide everything by a. So my b equals 3. My b over 2 equals 3 halves, which means my b over 2 squared is... Yes, squared is 3 halves squared, which is 3 halves times 3 halves, which is really 9/4. Now, I add 3 halves, so I'm going to add 9/4 to both sides.
Hello! Hello, people. How about that?
All right. Don't be fresh, please. And so now, I'm going to rewrite my trinomial as a binomial squared. Now, remember, in order to do that, I'm going to use this, as becomes x plus 3 halves quantity squared equals, well, 9 halves plus 9 quarters is really, if I multiply 9 halves by 2 over 2, I get 18 quarters, and 18 quarters and 9 quarters is 27 quarters. Good thinking. 27 quarters. But now it says multiply both sides by a. Now, my a was 2. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 again. And when I do that, this stays as 2 times x plus 3 halves squared equals, and now it's not 27 over 4, it's going to be 27 over 2, because 27 over 4 times 2, I can cancel that out. And I'm going to move the constant back. Sorry, Phoebe. I'm going to move the constant back. I'll use this color because it's beautiful, isn't it, Phoebe?
What is color?
Isn't that a beautiful color?
What is it? What color is it?
I think I'd call this eggplant. Minus 27 halves equals 0. Now, the reason why this is important is because, remember, if we had y equals x squared, that would be the parent function like this. But this is telling us that a, it's compressed. It's compressed. That too tells us to compress. This also tells us to move 3.5 units to the left. Please stop. Nope. Stop. Please stop. Thank you. It's telling us to move 3.5 units to the left, or 3 units to the left, and then down 27.5. Well, that's 13.5. So our new vertex should be at negative 1.5, comma, negative 13.5, Sorry, I'm now being jumped on by children. And that's supposed to say, let me try that one more time. How may I help you, Benji? Negative 1.5, negative 13.5. And that should be our coordinates of the new vertex. But like I said, it's going to be steeper than this because it's stretched because of that too. If you want to double check, like I said, negative 1/2 and negative 13.5, I'm going to go over to Desmos, and I just typed it in. And take a look. If I drag my point down, you'll see the vertex is at negative 1.5 and negative 13.5. And to give you an idea, y equals x squared. You know what? Let's do this. Y equals, I'm going to say, parentheses, x minus 1.5 squared minus 13.5. Oops, that's in my error. I think my real error was trying to do this with children on top of me. This is what the x squared function would look like, not compressed. Now, once again, the easiest thing to do would be just to, if you're just solely looking for the vertex, would just be to use x equals negative b over 2a, and then plug it in to find your corresponding y value, because when you use that, you would get this number. But like I said, this is in standard form, and it's very useful to know that because it gives an idea of the shape and the direction of your parabola. Anyway, I'm going to stop now. I thank you very much for watching, and I hope it's been helpful.